GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, I'm Lauren Dupuis. This Saturday we dive into a Quebec resident fighting a $40 parking ticket and the city's push to modernize meters, while Montreal police have taken down a controversial surveillance camera. Traffic's moderate with several road closures. Over to you, Ryan.
Juraj Slavkovsky received a civic honor in his hometown and was named Slovak Hockey Player of the Year for the fourth time.
The award ceremony took place yesterday, celebrating his contributions on both sides of the Atlantic and his continued international impact.
He will join the national team's training camp next week, preparing for upcoming international tournaments.
All right, let's get into it, starting with the latest headlines affecting Montreal and the surrounding region. Here are our top stories. Charlie Rousseau of Rouen-Noranda is contesting a $40 parking ticket, arguing that the city's coin-only meters are inaccessible for those with limited hand mobility. The dispute was filed in June 2026. Marion Kate has the full story.
After receiving a $40 parking ticket in June 2026, Rouen-Noranda resident Charlie Rousseau filed a formal dispute, arguing that the city's coin-operated meters are out of reach for people with limited hand mobility. Rousseau says she cannot easily grip coins or extend her arm to the meter slot, forcing her to incur fines despite trying to comply. She is urging municipal officials to upgrade the aging devices with contactless or card-based options, pointing to the daily challenges faced by seniors and anyone with reduced dexterity. The appeal adds pressure on city planners to consider universal design in future parking infrastructure, as the current system remains unchanged. Local disability advocates have echoed her concerns, noting that similar meters dot many neighborhoods across the province. Marion Kate, GMNA News, Rouen-Noranda.
Today, the city of Gatineau announced a groundbreaking plan to curb homelessness across the Ouatayois region. The initiative, developed in partnership with the coalition Avenir Quebec, introduces a coordinated housing-first model that pairs rapid access shelters with permanent affordable units and intensive support services. Officials say the approach will funnel resources into the city's most vulnerable neighborhoods while streamlining referrals between municipal agencies and community groups. The rollout begins this morning, with pilot sites slated for the downtown core and the historic St. Raymond district. As Quebec heads toward a provincial election on October 5th, housing insecurity has risen to a central campaign issue, and the Gatineau proposal is being billed as a template for province-wide action. Critics will watch closely to see whether the model can deliver measurable reductions in street homelessness before voters head to the polls.
Police officers dismantled a high-powered surveillance camera on Tuesday after a Radio Canada investigation exposed its hidden placement. The device, installed as part of a citywide monitoring program, drew criticism when the report showed it recorded public streets without clear signage. Police spokespeople confirmed the camera was removed following the expose and said the unit will be reviewed for compliance with provincial privacy rules. The incident adds to ongoing debate over security versus civil liberties. No arrests were made, and officials have not disclosed how many similar cameras remain in operation. Residents in the affected neighborhood were told the removal was finished by late afternoon. Police Chief Marie-Claude Leblanc said the action reflects a commitment to transparency. The Provincial Privacy Commissioner announced an audit of all municipal surveillance assets next week.
Construction has begun on the port of Montreal's expansion, with a new container terminal taking shape in Contrecoeur. The project aims to boost handling capacity toward a 2030 target. Denis Lariviere has the full story.
Construction crews broke ground this week on the Port of Montreal's latest expansion, erecting a new container terminal on the banks of the St. Lawrence in Contrecoeur. The project, slated to begin in August 2026, aims to boost the port's handling capacity to 2,030 20-foot containers per year, a key element of the broader growth plan. The The work follows a multi-year investment strategy approved by provincial authorities. Heavy machinery is already moving steel girders and pouring concrete for the terminal's berths, while engineers map out the layout of storage yards and access roads. Officials say the addition will streamline freight traffic and support the region's trade flow as global shipping demand rises. Denis Lariviere, GMNA News, Contrecoeur.
Transportation officials warn that the city's bike network will face its most severe disruptions from early September through early October, as a series of scheduled cycling races close major lanes. From the 1st of September to the 4th of October, 5 high-profile events will thread through downtown corridors, forcing temporary closures on routes that commuters rely on. The plan calls for 4 weeks of intensified lane reconfigurations, with detours posted along the green and orange lines, adjacent streets. Drivers are advised to allow extra travel time and to follow posted signage, while cyclists are urged to use alternate paths or the city's BIXI stations where available. The SDM says the disruptions are essential to support the races, but will add notable delays to regular traffic throughout the island. Public transit operators will also monitor service to mitigate impacts on commuters. Coming up, we'll examine the looming strike that could shut down Jean-Drapeau Park, plus our top stories, and we will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Potential strike looms over Park Jean-Drapeau as 230 maintenance workers signal they may walk off the job. The blue-collar staff, who keep the park's grounds, pathways, and facilities in shape, have warned of a work stoppage that could begin within days. City officials have been urged to address the dispute, though no specific deadline has been set. If the employees follow through, visitors could face reduced services, limited access to restrooms, and delayed cleanup of the island's popular attractions. The park, a key summer destination, draws crowds for concerts, festivals, and the historic St. Helens Island Promenade. Union representatives declined to comment on the exact demands, while municipal spokespeople said negotiations remain ongoing. Officials hope a resolution can be reached before the park's summer programming intensifies in the coming weeks.
Quebec municipalities are banding together, demanding provincial parties address urgent concerns on homelessness, housing shortages, and crumbling infrastructure as the election campaign approaches. Denis Lariviere has the full story.
Municipal leaders across Quebec are gathering to press every provincial party for concrete commitments on homelessness, affordable housing, and crumbling infrastructure. In town halls and council chambers, mayors presented data on rising shelter waits, a backlog of road repairs, and a shortage of social housing units, demanding that these issues shape the platforms before the election campaign kicks off next week. Representatives from the Liberal Coalition Avenir Quebec, Parti Québécois, and Quebec Solidaire met with the mayors, acknowledging the pressure but offering only broad pledges. The municipalities said they will monitor the parties' proposals closely, ready to hold them accountable as voters head to the polls. Denis Lariviere, GMNA News, Montreal.
City inspectors were cleared yesterday to enter a downtown building that police suspect houses illegal, windowless, and unsanitary rental units. The decision came after a lawyer denied the inspectors access, prompting the municipal authority to seek a court order. Officials said the entry will allow a thorough safety inspection and verification of tenancy compliance, part of a broader effort to crack down on unlicensed rentals across the island. The lawyer's refusal had stalled the inquiry, raising concerns about hidden living conditions that may jeopardize tenants' health. City Hall confirmed that the order now permits inspectors to conduct their assessment without further obstruction. The move follows recent raids on similar properties and underscores the administration's commitment to enforcing housing standards. Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada said the city will continue to pursue all leads to protect residents and ensure safe housing.
Police departments across Quebec are increasingly posting images created by artificial intelligence tools on their official social media channels. The shift, observed throughout August, follows a rapid rise in publicly available AI image generators that allow realistic pictures to be produced in minutes. Authorities say the technology helps illustrate alerts, missing person notices, and public safety messages when photographic material is unavailable. Critics, however, warn that synthetic visuals can be mistaken for genuine evidence, heightening the potential for misinformation. The Provincial Police Association confirmed that several municipal forces have integrated AI-generated graphics into recent campaigns, and that training on proper labeling is being developed. As the practice expands, civil rights groups are urging clearer guidelines to preserve public trust and ensure that digital content remains transparent. Police spokespeople said each AI-generated picture will carry a disclaimer noting its synthetic origin, and that they are consulting the Justice Ministry to ensure compliance with law standards.
Automated low-speed test trains have begun running on the REM's future airport branch, marking progress toward completing the Montreal-Trudeau segment by 2027. Philippe Nadeau has the full story.
Automated low-speed test trains rolled onto the unfinished tracks that will link the REM network to Montreal-Trudeau Airport this week, marking the first movement on the airport branch. The trial runs began during the week of August 13, 2026, and are being overseen by engineers who are checking signaling, power and vehicle performance before passenger service begins. Officials say the airport segment is slated for completion by the end of 2027, adding a direct rapid transit option to the city's main international gateway. The REM, a new automated rail system circling the greater Montreal area, is already in service on several lines while the airport spur continues its construction phase. Philippe Nadeau, GMNA News, Dorval.
Let's get a look at your morning forecast with our weather team.
A persistent high over the province and a fast northwest jet are keeping Montreal dry and mild. On this date, the thermometer has swung between extremes. The all-time high of 28.7 degrees was logged in 2020 during a lingering heat wave that pushed daily averages above 30. The record low of 11.6 degrees fell in 2019, a surprise chill that arrived with an early summer cold front. By contrast, the climate normal sits around 25 degrees for the high and 13 for the low. So today's expected 26 feels comfortably above average, yet far from the historic peaks. The live radar shows a clean canvas across southern Quebec. No precipitation echoes are present, and the satellite loop confirms clear skies stretching from the St. Lawrence Valley to the Adirondack Fringe. With high pressure holding steady and a brisk northwest jet aloft, the atmosphere remains too stable for lift. Expect the quiet to persist through the morning, with the first clouds only drifting in late afternoon as the sun lowers. At 7 this morning, Montreal sits under a clear sky with a temperature of 12 degrees, humidity near 87%, and a light northwest breeze. The high-pressure ridge anchored over the province is steady, preventing any incoming systems, while a fast northwest jet at roughly 168 kilometers per hour streams overhead, reinforcing subsidence and keeping the air dry. Temperatures will climb steadily, reaching 19 by noon, 22 in the mid-afternoon, and peaking around 26 as the sun sets near 8:04. The UV index holds at 5 and wind remains gentle. No weather alerts are active. With the atmosphere locked in this stable pattern, we now look ahead to the next 5 days. Saturday brings another clear day, with a high near 22 and a low around 12. The ridge remains dominant, so sunshine will dominate the morning and early afternoon. Sunday the pattern loosens, An approaching trough pushes moisture inland, delivering overcast skies and a 70% chance of rain, while temperatures dip to a high of 22 and a low of 14. Monday repeats the wet theme, with a 50% rain probability and a milder high of 24, low 18. Tuesday clears again under the high, offering a dry day and a warm high of 25 with a low of 18. Wednesday sees the jet dip south, inviting light rain and a 45% chance, with a high of 22 and a low of 16. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic snarls, the latest Habs headlines, plus a look at Good Food's creditor protection story, and we will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Major slowdown on Autoroute des Laurentides between Boulevard Henry Bourassa and the Exchange. A multi-vehicle collision has shut 2 lanes, pushing travel times up to 15 minutes. Westbound traffic on the Honoré-Mercier Bridge is also snarled after a stalled truck, with queues forming near the Conowick approaches. Drivers heading north on Autoroute 15 at Avenue Plamondon should expect a full closure while crews remove a broken-down vehicle. Detour signs point to Boulevard Henry Bourassa. Minor slowdowns continue on Boulevard Lacordaire and Boulevard Métropolitain, where road work remains active. The Laurentides interchange towards a 40 West reports a brief bottleneck, but traffic eases after the merge. On the transit side, the SDM has barred bicycles and pets from the Yellow Line from 6 p.m. until closing on August 15 and 16, so plan alternative routes if you ride the metro then. Expect these conditions to linger through the morning, with improvements likely by early afternoon.
Lasso Montreal is taking over Parc Jean Drapeau today, a country music festival that brings Thomas Rhett, Mumford & Sons, John Party and a host of other chart toppers, multiple stages, food trucks and a full-day vibe, ideal for a family outing or a weekend soundtrack. If retro grooves are more your style, swing by Theatre Fairmont in Mile End for Gimme Gimme Disco, a disco-themed party where the venue transforms into a glittering dance floor and live DJ sets keep the energy high. For a night of high-octane pop, head to Eligial Bar and Contentus in Centerville for the $T-Girl AT Pride Party, where girl pop and hyperpop collide in a non-stop dance marathon, and the crowd celebrates Pride weekend. Looking ahead, Lasso Montreal returns tomorrow for day 2 at the same park, adding fresh artists, while the MAD Festival will light up Place des Festivals later this week with fashion pop-ups, catwalk shows, and a buzz that keeps the summer vibe alive. And now here's Tyler with sports.
The Canadiens are making moves and making noise this offseason. The Canadiens' front office is under the microscope this summer. Kent Hughes has taken heat for trades that haven't delivered, but the counterargument walks right alongside it. Locking up Jakub Dobiš and Ivan Demidov back-to-back is the kind of off-season work that builds franchises. Demidov's deal may be among the last 8-year contracts the NHL ever hands out. Now the question is what Dobiš does for an encore. Juraj Slavkovsky is a hero in 2 worlds. The Canadiens forward has been named the first-ever honorary citizen of Butimir, the Slovak village he calls home, and he's added a 4th Slovakian Hockey Player of the Year award to his collection. 4 times. That kind of sustained recognition back home tells you exactly what this team has in him. The Canadiens have inked forward Sasha Pastujov to a 1-year, 2-way deal for the 2026-27 season. Acquired from the Anaheim Ducks, Pastujov now enters a training camp where he'll need to prove he belongs on the NHL roster. 2-way contracts put the pressure squarely on the player. That competition is good for this depth chart. Training camp is coming, and this roster has plenty to sort out.
Thanks, Tyler. Good food based in downtown Montreal has been a staple for families looking for convenient, chef-crafted meal kits and ready-to-eat dishes. On 13th August 2026, the company entered creditor protection after a steep decline in sales and rising ingredient costs. The court-ordered plan gives the business up to 90 days to restructure its debt while keeping its kitchens humming and its Montreal staff on the payroll. For neighborhoods from Mile End to Verdun, Good Food's daily deliveries mean more time at the table and fewer trips to the grocery aisle. This pause isn't a goodbye. It's a chance for the brand to reinvent itself, preserving jobs and keeping a homegrown flavor on our plates. Stay tuned as we explore how college students will connect with seniors this quarter and the new uniform pilot at Roberval Prison.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. College de Maisonneuve students can now pay a symbolic 25 cents to converse with senior volunteers, fostering intergenerational dialogue across Montreal campuses. Denise Lariviere has the full story.
Students gather in a modest hallway outside the library, where a volunteer senior sits at a small table with a vintage radio. For a symbolic 25-cent fee, any student can sit down, ask questions, and simply listen to the elders' stories about life before the digital age. The program, organized by College de Maisonneuve, matches each participant with a community member for a 15-minute conversation, aiming to bridge the gap between generations. Organizers say the modest charge encourages commitment while keeping the exchange accessible. So far, dozens of students have signed up, and seniors report feeling valued as they share memories of wartime Montreal and neighborhood traditions. The sessions run twice a week in the college's community center. Denise Lariviere, GMNA News, Maisonneuve.
Quebec has launched a 12-month pilot at the Roberval Detention Center, requiring inmates to wear uniforms in an effort to curb contraband. Giselle Cartier has the full story.
Officials from the Quebec Ministry of Public Security gathered outside the stone-faced Roberval Detention Center this afternoon to unveil a new 12-month pilot. Starting next week, every inmate inside the medium security facility will be issued a standard-issue jumpsuit, replacing the assorted civilian clothes they have been wearing. Prison staff say the uniform will make it easier to spot hidden packages and contraband during headcounts and searches. The program is part of a broader provincial effort to tighten controls on smuggled weapons, drugs, and cell phones that regularly make their way into lockups. Authorities will monitor the trial's impact on contraband seizures and inmate behavior before deciding whether to expand it to other Quebec prisons. Giselle Cartier, GMNA News, Roberval.
Thanks, Montreal, for tuning in. Tonight's look at the police removal of that controversial surveillance camera reminded us how community voices matter. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that shape our city. Stay safe, stay curious, and see you at sunrise. Keep an eye on the road updates and the new bike lane plans.